All right, everybody. So unless you just crawled out from under a rock, you know there's a huge crisis affecting everybody right now. Millions of Americans have applied for unemployment benefits in the past few weeks. So many have applied, in fact, that states have seen their phone lines jammed, their sites crashing because of the number of unemployment claims that are crushing their processing capacity. And even for people who haven't lost their job, there are still financial worries, bills that still have to be paid. Of course, some companies are working with their customers through this difficult time, and I'm going to cover that in this episode. But remember, if you miss even a single payment on your credit card or loans, it can significantly affect your credit score, and you can't assume that everyone is just going to give you a free pass right now because of what's going on, okay? If you miss a payment and you don't speak with your service provider or creditor about your situation beforehand, chances are that the effects are going to be the same as if you didn't manage your finances well at any other time before this all happened, okay? You have to be proactive about this stuff. So, what can you do to protect your credit during this time of crisis? I put together 9 basic ideas for how you can protect your credit during this time of crisis. But before I get into them, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button below for the YouTube algorithm so more people can see this information. Okay, number 1 way to protect your credit during this time. Ready for it? It's pretty basic. Monitor your credit report. Know what's on it, okay? One thing you need to do for your credit, not just right now, but all the time, is to check your credit report regularly. It's difficult to take action if you don't know what your credit report says. This will also allow you to look for any potential errors and remedy them, and it also allows you to look for patterns in your behavior and fix those as well. You're entitled to 1 free copy of your credit report every 12 months from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, okay? And according to the FTC, the only authorized website for free credit reports is annualcreditreport.com. That's annualcreditreport.com. So if you don't know what's going on with your credit report, go to that site, get your credit report, study it. If there are any errors, right, get those corrected, and more importantly, look for areas or patterns where you could improve. Number 2 way to protect your credit during this time, cut costs, okay? The best way to free up cash flow to stay current on your payments is to eliminate unnecessary expenses. So cancel those unnecessary subscriptions. Maybe start using one of those cash back apps and sites. Revisit your budget. Do whatever it takes to cut costs right now so you can have more money to put toward the bills you have to pay that affect your credit. One example of a cost that could be cut right now or decreased is auto insurance, right? You're probably not driving as much right now. Call your auto insurance company, tell them, hey, I'm barely driving these days due to what's going on. I shouldn't have to pay my normal premium. Now, I've heard of some companies doing this automatically for their customers right now, but even so, it's still worth a call to see, or a chat, to see if you can get an even greater discount than the one they're giving everybody, okay? Also, number 3, do your best to pay on time. Of course, the best thing you can do during this time and any other time to protect and improve your credit is to make on-time payments. If you are fortunate enough to have income right now and emergency savings, tap into those and try your best to keep up with payments. Remember, you put together your emergency fund for such a time as this. Some people think that because we're in this situation, they'll automatically have leeway when it comes to making payments, but that's not necessarily the case, okay? With credit cards, you may not be able to pay as much as you'd like to, but even making the minimum payment can safeguard your credit score right now, though interest will likely still continue to accrue on your balance. That said, many credit card companies, mortgage companies, and more are doing their best to work with their customers right now. Last week, I dropped a video on what 18 banks are doing right now to help their mortgage and credit card customers, and that brings me to my next point. Call your creditors ASAP. This is point number 4. In most cases, you have to proactively contact your creditors and take advantage of assistance programs before you've missed your payment, not after, okay? For the most part, they're treating this on a case-by-case basis. You have to reach out to them. What this means is that you even think you could potentially face an issue making payments, you will need to reach out to each individual creditor. You'll need to explain the situation and then ask for relief separately for all of your accounts. What your lenders can do is include forbearance and payment plans, but they aren't necessarily obligated to do so, and it can vary depending not just on the lender, but the borrower as well. The following are a few examples of what major lenders are doing right now. American Express. Now, Amex hasn't yet outlined specific payment options for cardholders and borrowers, but they do have a resources page that includes contact information if you do have questions about your options. B of A. Bank of America created a press release in the end of March saying their plans to help consumers right now. For example, they said working on a case-by-case basis, they're offering options for refunds on overdraft fees for consumer and small business deposit accounts. For mortgages and home equity loans, clients can ask to defer payments. Bank of America America has also paused foreclosure sales, repossessions, and evictions. Citi is offering several different things for customers right now. For example, on the Citi credit cards page, they are offering a waiver of minimum payment due requirements and late fees for 2 statement cycles. During this time, as long as your account wasn't already delinquent, Citi says they will report it as current to credit bureaus during the waiver period. Navy Federal Credit Union is offering student loan options as well as a relief loan of up to $5,000. They're also offering refunds on credit card late fees if you request them, and a possible credit card limit increase. You can apply for the limit increase through the Navy Federal app. Wells Fargo has provided some guidance for customers, including consumers with home loans through the bank. On mortgages and home equity payments, Wells Fargo says they're offering a 3-month payment suspension. Wells Fargo is also offering automatic suspensions of foreclosures and evictions of property, as well as a suspension of involuntary auto repossessions. Okay, the number 5 thing you can do right now to protect your credit is ask about a natural disaster code. There is something called a natural disaster code that can be added to your credit report. A natural disaster code is something that indicates typically that there's been something like a hurricane or something that's affected you, but it's possible that it could be used for the current crisis. Now, consumers can't add the code on their own. If you want to have it added, you should call either your lender or the major credit bureaus to add it. It doesn't necessarily help your score or protect it, but it does provide some context if your score takes a hit during this time to people who might be looking at your credit report down the line. Number 6, talk to your utilities providers. If you aren't able to pay your utility services like your phone, internet, or cable bill, this can impact your credit score too. Now, most of the time, utility companies do not report your payment history to the credit bureaus. However, if you are significantly behind, the utility company might send your debt to a collection agency or possibly charge off your account, and either of these 2 actions will almost certainly affect your credit negatively. So reach out to your utility companies and ask them what options are available to you right now. Again, it's very important to do this proactively rather than waiting until after you've missed a payment. Number 7, protect your identity. At times of crisis, scammers and criminals are more active. They prey on people at a time when they're afraid, confused, and maybe even desperate. This means that your financial and identity information may be more likely to be compromised right now. Make sure that you're frequently checking your credit, not just so that you can see your score, but so that you can quickly see if your identity has been stolen. If someone steals your identity, it can destroy your credit history, and it will take you a lot of time to fix the problem. Number 8, be careful with your credit card. While it's a tough time financially for a lot of people right now, try to avoid turning to your credit cards whenever possible unless you're absolutely positive you can pay down the balance. It's better to set a budget and try to stick with it right now, even if that means you cut quite a few expenses. When you spend too much on your credit card and it drives your balances up and your available credit down, that impacts your score significantly, and even more so if you can't make your payments. The amount of available credit you're using is one of the main factors used to calculate credit scores. Also, it's going to be tougher to repay all that debt when things normalize if your balance balloons right now. Finally, number 9, accept your mistakes and move on. If you do have a late payment, whether it slipped your mind or you felt you couldn't pay it, your goal should be making your account current as quickly as you can. Also, like I said before, be sure to call even if you miss a payment and weren't proactive about it. Try even after the fact. Your creditors might be nice during this time. Anyway, everybody makes mistakes, but don't get discouraged. It's better to be late 30 days than 60 or 90 days, okay? And the sooner you work it out with your lender or credit card company to get your account current, the better off you'll be. And of course, once you get your account current, you can then write a letter to the creditor and ask them to remove the mark from your credit report. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't, but hey, it's worth a try, right? Oh, and by the way, I have a video from my archive where I go over 6 ways to remove negative items from your credit report. If you want to check it out, click right over here, check out that video, and subscribe to Money Done Right so you don't miss future updates. I'll talk to you tomorrow, if not today.